Um, this is the budget in Excel file. This is a simple budget. You can have less. You don't have to have as many as 20. You can have maybe 10, 5, depending of what the budget that way you want to buy. Try to spend as much as you have, the $10,000. And now here, remember, is the split agreement. So you have to put your name, the investor, and any other person who helping with in the team. You have to pay a percent of the profit. So here, all the percent should add to 100%. At the bottom, you do the signatures. That's it. That's all for project 1. You can see examples in 4.3. Now I want to continue working on assignment 3 so you can see how we can do the question in assignment 3. At the end, if you have questions, we can answer those questions. Let's go back to the yeah, right here actually. All right, number 1, you see the same base means same base, and then you add the exponent because it's a multiplication. If it's division, you subtract the exponent. That's the rule when you're doing exponents. So a plus 9 is 17. Yeah, just remember I'm adding the exponent and I place the same number, the base. The exponent tell me that I have to multiply the base 17 times in this case, which is a lot. Now number 2, the base is 4, so it's the number on the bottom. Then I have to click the exponent, and the exponent is 5. That's all you have to do, right? So trying to get familiar with the tools. They are here to help you to place the numbers. Number 3. We have the same base, but in this case, the base is 8, but then we say 6 minus 9. 6 minus 9. So it's equal to 3, but it's minus 3. So in order to represent that, I had to put the minus 3. Remember, this is a trick. When you have a number with the negative value, you have to flip over like a reciprocal to make the negative positive, because you cannot express the negative and leaving as a negative because it doesn't make any sense. It makes sense when you say 3 to the second power, but if you say 3 to the minus second, to the minus 2, then doesn't make any sense. So in that case, we flip as a reciprocal. That's the idea. So this one, it may be tricky. So that's why I choose the fraction. So because I have to put 1 on the top, and then on the bottom I put a, and then put the exponent, the 3, which is the difference between 6 and 9. But the big number is on the bottom. I will explain why this is the case. You see, they say I have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on top. Then I have 6 on the bottom. I have another 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? So I can cancel all the 6 on top. I can cancel all the 6 on the bottom, leaving only 1 over a 3 times. So that's why you subtract and put the number on the bottom, because the big number is on the bottom. If the big number is on top, then you're leaving on top. So that's for 3. Now number 4. Only you have to choose one. These terms are like, even though one is positive, one is negative, one has a 9 and the other one has a 4. But remember, the terms like means the same variables with the same exponents. That's what it means by like in mathematics. So if it is like, means both has the same variables with the same exponents. In this case, it is true. And we want to show from 2007 and 2008. No, 2008. So what we need to do is they say the difference. You say difference means subtract. So you subtract this number with this number. That's all we need to do for that one. We subtract the big number minus 22,100 minus 17,800. So we subtract these two. We subtract those two numbers. Let's keep going. Now for this one, the mean means the standard value, the average value. And what I mean is that I have to adding all these numbers. Adding, right? Adding all these numbers. So we're using plus. All the numbers, 95 plus 90 plus 75 plus 63 plus 89 divided by the number of teams, which is 5. So once you add it, then you divide it by 5. And that's all you have to do for this one. That's what we call the mean. Right? Okay, you say 412. Let's check. 412. We check. Okay, you didn't divide it? Oh, wait, we're missing dividing. Let's divide in. The dividing. So say 412 divided by 5. I should have 82.4. 82.4. Yes. So yes, 82.4. Yeah, that's what we do. Now number 7. Very simple. Just put the number together with the variable. That means multiplication. 7R, because we have to multiply in this case. They give you the unit cost. Let's say if you have 3 sodas and each soda is 0.50 cents, so you have to multiply 3 times 50 cents. So it's the same idea. So you put the number together with the variable. Same idea here. They say is younger, right? That means subtract. But you subtract from A because we don't know the bill is 8 years old. We don't know exactly the number. So, but we represent by A. So we say A younger means minus 26. It's 26 younger. So that's what it means in mathematics. Here we simplify the left, then we simplify the right. You see we have 10 Q, and then on the right we have 20. So 20 divided by 10 is just 2. See, we have 10, and on the right we have 20. Then we're dividing the whole expression by 10. So leaving 20 divided by 10 is just 2. Yeah, notice that this is like first is you starting with minus 0, 1. Then you add the opposite. You see, you subtract by 11, then you add 11. And then you multiply by t. It means on the opposite you have to divide. You do the opposite. So if you start with the calculator, remember it's just applying the opposite. You start from the right, from the back. You say 101, and this is negative. And then you say plus 11, and then divided by 9. So I got minus 10. So that's all you have to do here. Minus 10. Going the opposite direction. From back to front. Yeah, first we do the distributive property. So we know we have to do A times P. Just follow the distributive property. I see 2 negatives. So if you see 2 negatives, that means you cancel. A times 2 is 16. Then I have 7P on the front. And then I have 19 on the right side. So 7 minus 8P is minus P. But then I subtract 16 on both sides. That gives me 3 on the right side. That gives me 3. But since I have only one negative, then the answer is negative. Remember, if you see only one negative, you keep the negative. But if you see 2 negatives, then you cancel the negatives. That's the idea. So here, the answer will be minus minus 3. Yeah, first we did the distributive property, then we combine line terms, putting together the same variables, and then putting together the numbers with the numbers. And then simplify on the left, simplify on the right. And that's it. That's all we do. We have to be careful when you do those calculations. There is another way. If you can place this in the calculator, in a scientific calculator, and you can also place this equation. Let me see if I can. Well, let me show you the other way. Yeah, you can use Mathway and then just place the same. Here's another way. P minus 2 plus parentheses equal to 19, right? And then you say this means enter. So you click, and then they will give you the value for P, which is minus 3. That's another way if you want to check that. Now number 12, the same idea, all right? Yeah, notice that I can do the t's. I got 60. 3 times 8 is 24. 24, but it's a minus. So if I have 24, and I will subtract 6 because I will have 18, but the big number is negative. So here I had to put negative 18t. That's the number for t. Now what's the number for the number? Now that's t. That's just t. Now if I want to check for the number, I have to say 6 times 8 is 48. I see one negative, so it's negative. Minus 3 plus 3 is only one negative, so I keep the negative. It's 9. Same sign will add. So I have 57. So it will be well. So let's check. We have 57. Let's say that's a plus. No, that's a minus 57. Oops. Minus 57. All right, let's check. Yeah. And remember, you can do the same in Mathway. You can place and type the equation. They will give you an easy way to do that. Yeah, notice in this expression, we're replacing the value for the letter. It's like a substitute, the value inside the letter. And notice that the last is the same number on top as the fraction on the bottom. So they will cancel. So notice that this number, when you substitute here, it will look like minus a over a. So they will cancel. But we only have one negative, so you keep the negative, right? So it will be minus 1. That will be simplified to minus 1. Now 9, I substitute here. Then you multiply 9 times 5 is 45, but it's negative, so you have minus 45. So this one you have minus 45. So these numbers multiply the number in front, which is the coefficient, and then you replace the letter with the number. So if you have two numbers together in math, that means multiplication. So 9c means 9 times minus 5, because the value for c is minus 5. So we have minus 45 from 9c, and then we have minus 1, so that gives us 46 right here. So here we have to place 46, but it has to be negative. Remember, minus 45 and then minus 1 is minus 46. So remember, the same sign, you add different sign, you subtract. If you see 180, you keep the negative. If you see two negatives, you cancel the negatives. Now the second one, similar, 9 times 6. 6 times 9, we can do it with the calculator. We say 9 times 6, I got 54. And then minus 8 times 2 is 10. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 8 times 2 is 16. So I have to say minus 16. Because we have a minus in between those two, we have a minus. So we have to subtract. So 9 times c is 54. Minus 8 times 2 is 16. So it will be 54 minus 16 is 38. That's the way you do those problems, you know. This is only translating the English into a more symbolic, which is the math. So it's like a more symbolic language. So they say the difference means a subtraction, all right? So we say the difference of negative 3, so negative 3, the difference, and a number. But remember, a number is represented by x because we don't know. So number, we don't know. So we say x is means equal in math. The translating for is means equal. 4. That's it, right? So this means the difference between minus 3 and a number is 4. That's the way we say in English. But the way we're writing in symbolic as a mathematical expression, we say minus 3 minus x equal 4. So when you subtract to negative 3 and it give you 4, what is x? If I subtract to negative 3 and give me 4, what will be x? To give me 4. So it means x has to be equal to 7, right? Because the difference between the negative 3 and 4 is 7. So the difference is 7, but then I run into another problem. If I put 7, then it will look like minus 3 minus 7 is equal to minus 10, not equal to 4, because the two numbers have the same sign. So they will add, they will not subtract. So in order to subtract, I need to put negative 7. Because then if I replace the x, I will have double negative. That means becomes positive. So if I say negative 3 plus 7, then I will have positive 4. Remember, 4 is positive, but we never write the positive. We only write in the negatives. And don't be confused about the negative of the number or the negative of the subtraction. You have to be very careful. This in the calculator, this plus or minus is with the number, but this operation here is subtraction. So one is coming from the number and the other one is coming from the negative, from the subtraction, from the operation. Sometimes we confuse those two symbols. All right, 15. Same idea. A number increase means adding by 30. So we say x plus 30. Result means equal minus 19. So the number is the difference between those two, the 30 and minus 19. So what we need to do is adding, but they have to be negative because the final result is negative. So notice that the difference of these two numbers will give me the value for x. But it had to be a negative value because the end result is a negative number. So 30 plus 19 is 49. But this number had to be negative. Because if I add 30 to this number, I will ending up with negative 19. Now 16, let's say 15 pounds of candy is distributing in 5/6 pounds bags. Remember, how many bags can be filled? So we ask, and it's with this problem, what operation that I need to use? Did I need to use multiplication or did I need to use division? Based on we looking for how many bags. So this inside we need to look how many bags can we do into the big amount of pounds. So we dividing. Remember, we're dividing a big amount of pounds into smaller groups of pounds. So that means division. So I have 55 divided by 5/6. So we can do it in the calculator. So we have 55. Oops, sorry. It's 55 divided. Now, since I need to use a fraction, I open parentheses and say 5 divided by 6, close parentheses, and then I say equal. That's 66 bags. So here is 66 bags. Now another way to do this, if I want another way to do it, I can say 5 divided by 6 first. That give me this number. Then I switch because the number had to be on the bottom because we divided. So I do the inverse, 1 over x. And then I multiply that by 55. That give me the same number also. All right. So what I'm doing is just, since I don't want to use the fraction, I change it to decimal. And then by multiplying means with the inverse, I'm just doing is placing 55 on top and then putting the decimal on the bottom. So if you do that, it will give you 66. The same idea. The two different way. All right. So let's check. 17. 1/2 of candy to max and then 8 1/5. So the idea is we have a whole candy bar and then we subtract 1/2 and then we subtract 1/5 of the same candy bar, and we want to know what is left. So that's the idea. The whole candy bar, which is 1, we subtract half of, because they give half to max, and then we eat 1/5 of the candy bar itself. So we're still eating the same candy bar. So what fraction of the candy bar is left? That's the question. So here I can do with the simple calculator. Let me check. Okay, I start with 1 minus 1 divided by 2 minus 1 divided by 5 equal 0.3. Nah, that doesn't work too much. Yeah, so 1 minus 1/2 is like 1/2. Then we have 1/2 subtract 1/5. So let's look another way, because they give you a decimal. So there is a way, I guess, is with the math way. Let's put it in the math way. Same idea. 1 minus 1/2 minus 1/5. And that's it. That's all we need. Yeah. So that gives me 3/10. Remember, what is nice from Mathway is they will give you the answer as a fraction and as a decimal. You see, we have the decimal already on the calculator. Well, it's 0.3, but we don't look for the decimal form. We're looking for the fraction. What fraction? You see, this is they ask you for the what fraction, not for the decimal. So here we already know that is 3/10. 3 divided by 10. This is one of the problems that some students are asked me how to do that. All right. Well, if you do by hand, you have to separate the whole numbers and adding all the whole numbers at the easy part, and then separate the fractions and add all the fractions, and that's the tricky part. If you see the example, show example, let me see if I'm able to show example here. They give you an example here, and notice that those numbers will repeat on the right side, will repeat on the left side, and then you have to place in with the same denominator as an equivalent fraction. You have to change the 3/5 into the same number 10 on the bottom. So when you do that, then it will be easy to add all these numbers with the fractions. So we have the big number 27, and then we have 3 whole number that is coming from the fractions. We add them with the whole numbers, that's 30, and then leaving 7/10. That's the way you do if you do by hand. But let's check another way. The other way is on the math way. But remember, these 3, it will repeat. So that's why I have to start with 2, open parentheses, and then I just play the same numbers from right to left. So I have 1 half, 1 half, and then I have plus, oh no, sorry, I have a plus 3, and then I have 1/5, 1/5, and then a plus, I have 6, then I have 3 on top and 5 on the bottom, and plus. So these are the repeating right and left. And then on top, I don't forget the top, I have a 1/10. That's all I have to do. Just type the numbers, and just remember I use parentheses and multiply by 2 because those numbers will repeat on the left side. So right and left side, they are the same numbers. The only difference will be the top. The top is only one number. That's why I separate from the parentheses. So the parentheses will multiply by 2 because they are twice, and then a over 1/10 is only once. I put it separately from the parentheses. That's why is outside. And that's all you do. Then you click enter, and they will give you the mixed number. 37/10. So you say 30, oops, sorry. We say 37/10. And do not forget the jars, the units. Do not forget the units. 37/10 and then the units. And check. You see, that's that's one of the big questions we have sometimes. Number 19. That's very simple. I click the pencil, and then I move. The first number is minus. They say the first number is x is -1. It's right here, and the second number I start from the center. They say minus or -1 means to the left 1 unit. So I move 1 unit to the left, and then I say 4 units up. If it is positive, if it is negative, you go down. So here you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and you click. That's -1,4. And then we check the number. And it's very simple. It's like plot the coordinate point. Now this is similar. Its value is c. We're looking, c is x equal to 3. You see here the x. Let me give you the x is 3. That's the x value. And then the y is the horizontal is -4. Those are the two values. So x is the first element, is 3, it's positive, and then here is minus 4. That's how we do this coordinate plotting of a point. You know, 21, the LCM. The LCM is like the least common multiple. So the multiples of 14 are, you say 14 plus 14 is 28, then 28 plus 14 is 42, and then you continue in that fashion by adding 14 each time. In the least common multiple of 21 is the same idea. 21 plus 21 is 42, plus 21 is 63, and then plus 21 is 84, and you continue this similar until you hit the first number that will match. That's why we call the least common multiple. But there's another way to do this easily. So we look over here, and then we check. You place the numbers 14, and then you say comma, separate by 21, and then you click, and they will ask you looking for LCM, the least common multiple, and that gives me that is equal to 42. And you can check that on the now if you want to see the steps of the LCM, we can show an example. They will give you an example like 8 and 30, how they calculate the LCM. And this way they do by prime factorization. They, let's say A is equal to 2 times 2 times 2, that's the prime numbers. Factorization means when they multiply, they give you A. Then you do the same for 30, which is 3 times 10, but 10 is 2 times 5, so it will be 2 times 3 times 5. So you have all the numbers 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5 for A and 30. The least common multiple will be 120. That's by doing prime factorization to find the LCM. That's the example. But I guess the easy way to do this is just going to the big calculator with the Mathway. Now we move to the right to check the last problems. Now for this one, you have to remember the formula that say interest is equal to P R T. P means principal, R means the rate in percent, and T means time in years, the number of years. So here, what we need to do is just multiply all the numbers. So let me show you. So I need to multiply this number. Now I need to multiply this number, but remember, before to multiply this number, I need to change it to a decimal. Cannot work with the 4%. Always, if you see the percent, you need to change it to a decimal. In order to do that, you need to move the point twice to the left. So that becomes 0.04. 0.04. You never use the 4%. You change to a decimal and then you can multiply or divide or doing all other operations. And then the last number is 8, right? So we multiply. So let's multiply those numbers. You will see how. So I have 30, 200 times 0.04 times A. That's equal to this number, 9664. However, this is not the solution. This is the interest over that, over $30,000. So the bank will get almost $10,000. That's a lot from this amount because it's take the 4% for 8 years is almost you're giving $10,000 in interest to the bank. So the total amount in the account after 8 years, if you put this money, if you borrow this money, then you have to pay that much. But if you invest or save this money, then you get the 4%. Like, don't touch this until 10 years. Maybe then you get a good amount if it is 4 to 5%. Usually the bank never pay for this much. Most of the time they pay you 1% or maybe less. Yeah. So here what we need is to add the interest. We say plus 3,200. We add it, and this is the amount you have to pay back, or this is the amount you have in the account. So either way, this is how much we have. Oops, sorry, we missed that one. Forget that. Let me start again. 3,200 times 0.04 times 8, then plus 3,200. Okay. So we have 3,984. So the total amount in the account after 8 years is this much. Now we traveling. Let me remember these problems. You have to be very careful. If you have the general idea, then you can follow that, and then you worry then with the minor details from each part. But take the general idea. We're talking about the velocity because we say miles per hour, and velocity is always distance over time, but it's given the distance. If you see right here, it's given the distance already, and this is the total distance. So the distance is equal to VT, and that's the formula we need to work. The VT, dVT. So, and the general idea will be that the total distance, the distance total will be equal to the distance of the first airplane that goes to Seattle, Washington, plus the distance from the other side, because the two airplanes, the two passengers leave the airport of Kansas City, Missouri, one flight. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the Los Angeles. So this is actually I was looking at another problem. So from Los Angeles, California, and the other one flies the opposite direction to New York. So this is New York. So the total distance will be one's going to Los Angeles and plus the other one's going to New York. Put New York. And this is equal to 2004 It's already given. Right, so this is the general idea we need to work. So let's do that. We started from the general idea and we take the information from the problem. So we erase and we go to the big calculator. We go into the big calculator. And we say, let's see, 2464. 2464 is equal to, right? 2464 is equal to, this is miles. Everything is in miles. 2 passengers, all right, leave the airport. 1 flight to Los Angeles, California, in 7.6 hours. So remember, we have VT. Do we know V? No, but we know the T. The T is 7.6. And then the other flies in the opposite direction in 4.4. With prevailing westerly winds, the speed of the plane to New York is faster. So here we don't know nothing about the first one, so we say X. We don't know. But plus the second one is going to the opposite direction, is 4.4, and we know something about the other one. The velocity, they say, is 20 miles faster than the speed of the plane to Los Angeles. So it's faster means that it's the same speed but plus 20 because it's faster, the one going to New York, because of the winds. The winds favor the plane to go into New York, because they say the speed of the plane to New York City is 20 miles per hour faster than the speed of the plane to Los Angeles. So then that's it. That's all we need. So here we ask the calculator to find the x value. To find the x value. So the x is 198. 198. So we have 198. Let's check. And what will be the next one? Remember, the next one is 198 plus 20. So 198, which is at 198 plus 20. We have 218. So that's 218 miles per hour. And this is the way you calculate that. Well, this is the easy way you calculate this problem. 24. Determine the slope. Very simple. We need to. What's the difference between? Let's say you're going from 5 to -3. How many units do you have to walk? From 5 to 0, you need 5 units. And then to -3, you need 8 units. So you have 8 units on top. From 5 to -3, if you walk from in the number line, if you walk from 5 to -3, you need to walk 8 steps, because you move from 5 to 0 and then to -3. Now if you move from, now you're going from 4 to 7. You're going from 4 to 7. How many units? You have 3. Yeah, it's interesting that when you're moving from 5 to -3, you go to the left side. But if you go from 4 to 7, you go to the right side. So it means this one had to be negative. The whole thing had to be negative. The slope had to be negative. If you go in the same direction, it's always positive. But if you go in a different direction, the slope is negative. Yeah, that's the way you're doing. 25. And there's a way to find the formula very quick. It's just remember we have a point 213 and we have a slope. Those are the two things we have. 213, the order pair is 213, and then we have the slope is equal to 4. So here, this information, we say we have a point 213, and then comma, I have the slope equal to 4. And that's all the information I need. Then enter. I want the slope intercept form, which is y equal to mx plus b. So they give me 4x plus 5. So here I have to say y equal to 4x plus y plus 5. Y equal to 4x plus 5. And well, you can do by hands, but it will take more time. If you do by hand, you can check the show example here, or you can say by solving. You can also see as a guided solution if you want to practice the steps, or simple link to the textbook. Those are a good way to see the steps. But the easy button will be the math way you can do, and then that's the answer. 26. Now we have 2 points. 6, 5. 6, 5 to third. 6, 5, comma, 2 third, 2, 3. 6, 5 and 2, 3. And I will do the same. I say y equal to mx plus b. Oops. So we have y equal 1 over x plus, we have plus 2, plus 2. That's 26, similar to 25 in a way, but there's given 2 points. In the 25, we have 1 point and the slope. In the second one, we only have 2 points. Now here, we're translating from the, see the problems? That's all the numbers I need. That one and that one. And they say commission set. And X for X dollars in sales. So that means it's related to that one. So that's why when I writing the equation, I will start with 300 and then I will say plus. Remember, I never use I never used the percent. I had to change it into 0.12. Remember, always don't forget to a decimal by moving the point twice to the left. That's something you have to keep in mind. So 0.12. So oops, forget the pointer. So we have 0.12x. That's all you have to do for that problem. That's number one. Now number two, if I have 6,000, then we just it's okay. If you need to switch from your laptop to iPad, that's okay. Don't worry about that. I have you name. Now remember, I need to multiply the 6,000 by 0.12. That's the first thing I do. So 6,000 multiplied by 0.12, and then add 300. That's 1,020. Which means on the first box, you say that I will make 1,020 if 6,000 in merchandise is sold for the week. Yeah, and then reading and see if it makes sense. Usually you put the same numbers. You see, put the first one the same if 6,000, same numbers that you have. And this is the one, and 20A. 20A are similar, right? The charge for parking, you read the problem, they say 3 is a flat fee, but then you increase plus 0.70 per hour. This is the one they're changing because every hour they charge you 1.70. So here is the formula. You say 3 is the constant value, which is 3. Then the rate of 1.7 is m. That's the rate. That's the variable, and it's equal to 1.7. You can say 1.70 if you want, or 1.7. And then the formula is simple. You start with 1.70 times t, because it's time plus 3. That's the equation. It's a linear function in base of the parking garage in a large city. So it's like a modeling. You're modeling how much it's gonna cost for the parking with one equation. Now, evaluate means you substitute this value into the variable t, because now the time is 1.3. So you want to check what would be the cost or how much you have to put in the parking lot. So we have to multiply 1.70 times 1.3, then plus 3, 5.21. 5.21. That's going to be the total value for the parking. It means that 5.21, it costs 5.21 to park for 1.3 hours. Yes, yeah, this is giving in time is in hours per hour. Yeah. Yes, see, that's the meaning. It's very good problem. Here we have a big problem too, but I guess we can help with the. We have a big problem, but we have a big calculator. So let's place minus 1 688 t squared plus 79 123 t plus 10 123. Yeah, you see we have the number, and then we say compute for us, but in this case we're looking for the vertex, and that's the vertex. Let me see what happen if I looking for the find the x and y intersects, find the roots, find the maximum and minimum factors, find the x and the y intersects. No. Yeah, I guess the best way is find the vertex. So, well, these are the vertex for that. So, but that's not my to find the value for x. I had to divide it. So 98.75 divided by 422 as the time. To simplify or divide, you can say divide. Will give me 23. 23. So it's 23 is the first. So here the first box will say 23 hours. That will be the time. Now the maximum population is the second one. So the second one, the big number, 197,141,250 divided to 11. We can say divide, and then the number is 934318. Now they say round to the nearest thousand. To the nearest thousand will be 934 because the 4 is the thousand. So the next number is 3, so everything becomes zeros. So we say 934 and then 3 zeros, 1000. You see everything after the 4 becomes 0, 0, 0 because we round the number to the nearest thousand. And that's for 29, 30. And this one, we remember we start from the idea of the perimeter. So we say if we have the perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So here we say perimeter is 446 equal 2 times the length. The length is 135. 135, but I'm sorry. Let's start again. 446 equal 2 times the 135 plus this each side is x. That's the width of the easement. You see the small section is x, and we have on both sides the length has a small section here, so we say 2x plus parentheses, then we say plus 2 times the width, but the width is 64, and then we have 2 small space with 2x also, and that's what we're looking for, the x value, which is the easement, is the the outside border that is not built. It's a small section here around the building. So we say enter, and we find the x is equal to 6. And that's the easy way to do it. Number 30. 31. Let's see. All right. Yeah, notice this problem you can do in a calculator, or you can do it in the big calculator. It's a 1 pump can fill a pool in 10 hours. Working with the second slower pump, the pumps together can fill the pool in 6 hours. How fast can the second pump fill the pool by itself? So here it's very simple. We say 1 over working together. If we both working together will be 6 hours. So if we subtract working only one, it will take 10 hours. If we work only one, and we want to know what will be the other one, so by subtracting, then we will know the x value. So we just click, and the x will be 15 hours. In 15 hours, we'll do that. If that makes sense, right? So both we're doing 6 hours. One we're doing in 10 hours, but the other one, which is slower, we're doing 15 hours. So it makes sense. 32. Yeah, this is only to remember, we switch, put this one over here, and then put this number on the other side. Remember, why we're looking for mx plus b is equal to y. So I put the y right here, y, and then the y, let me actually have it right here, y put on the right, is that equal to 5x, and then the minus 5 becomes positive. Remember, every time that you switch from the left to right or from right to left, you have to change the sign to the opposite. So that's what we did. So we have 5x plus 5 equal to y. That's the same. That's the slope. That's the b, which is the y-intercept. And that's all they ask you. So the slope is 5. The slope is 5. The y-intercept, they say write the y-intercept as an ordered pair. So you have to say ordered pair. The first one is always 0, comma, and we find this is 5, and then close parenthesis, and then the equation written in slow intercept form is y equal to 5x plus 5. And that's what we have to do here. It's 3 questions, 3 answers to the 1 question. 33. Factor the binomial. First, you have to find the square root. So it's always you say the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of 36 is 6. Let's check it out. 25 square root is the one on the bottom. See, this is the square root right here. This is the square. This is the square, but this is the square root. See, the square root is different. It's the opposite of the square. So we say 25 and then the square root. That's fine. And then we say 36 and then the square root. That's 6. That's all we need. So here we say open parentheses. Remember the idea is a plus b times a minus b. That's the same idea where a squared minus, remember the factorization is a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b. That's the idea. So we have 5y plus 6 plus the open parenthesis 5y minus 6 plus parenthesis. Yeah, the numbers repeat, one we plus, one we minus. That's all we do. 34. This problem we just repeat the same numbers. 10, 34, 25, 37, 35, 39, 45, 36, 65, and 34. Just repeat the same numbers. That's order pairs, and this is always the x is the first number, and the y is the second number in the order pairs. That's the first. We just put the same numbers in the same order. Now here is the second part, which is a little, those numbers are big, but the idea is the first, you take the first one, 10 to 34. So you click the pen right here. And then you go from the first one, and remember the x is 10 and the y is 34. So you look at 10, it's right here, and then go up to 34, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more, 4. Click. And that's the first point. And then you do the same for the next, for the second, third, fourth, and 5. Similar, and then that's it. That's all you do. Just take each point and graphing. Let's go to 35. We're about to finish this assignment. Here we take the line, and then we start from -3. You know, from like going from backward. We start from -3 and we click in -3, and then we have a negative. So I have to go down 1 unit down, and then move to the right. Click, because it was a negative. That's all we do. Remember, we start from the number on the back, which is -3. So I click on -3. Since the slope is negative, I go down 1 unit and then to the right 1 unit and click. That's the way you're graphing this equation. And 36. Yeah, for this one, they want the slope intercept form. First, you look for two things. For the slope, let me put it right here. We look for the slope, which is the little triangle, and we look for the y-intercept. The y-intercept is this number right here. Is 1. We have y1, so y is equal, that's y-intercept. Sorry, that's y-intercept. Well, that's bad. The y-intercept is 1. This y is mx plus b. So this is b. The slope is, let me see, the little triangle here. This little triangle here. It goes 1 on the vertical. The slope is 1 on the vertical and 4 units to the left. That means it's 4 units on the horizontal. That's the slope. You know, I just draw a small triangle, a right triangle, and then the measure of the vertical is on top, and the measure of the horizontal distance is on the bottom. So it's 1/4. So then I have all the elements I need. So here I just write y equal 1/4, and notice that the slope is positive plus 1, because b is 1. B means where the line intersects the y-axis. The line intersects and the y-axis and 1. That's 1. And the slope is because of this small triangle. That's the way you find the equation of the line. Well, thank you for coming, and we finish in 1 hour and 30 minutes.